Hey, you know what time it is? It is 8 a.m. Saturday morning. I'm Meredith Elliott Powell hanging out here with my partner, Mark Hunter, and it is time for Sales Logic.
Hey, it is. It is a great Saturday morning. We got a great topic. We're going to be talking about, is customer retention your new sales strategy for this era that we're in right now? We got a question that lines up perfectly. We got a book that lines up perfectly. Ooh, the lightning round. Top 10 ways buyers are changing. This is going to be a good show. So, hey, if you're catching it live, jump in with comments. Love to hear from you. But Mayor, jump in. Is customer retention the new sales strategy? I sure think it is.
Yeah, I'm like I was really thinking about the topic today, and I was thinking, do I think it is a new sales strategy? And I don't think it is a new sales strategy. I think it is a very, very important sales strategy. But quite frankly, it's that sales strategy we always should have been paying attention to. I think one of the funniest things about a tough economy is all of a sudden we start looking at whether we're holding on to our customers or not. It costs so much. What is the statistic? Like 6 to 7 more times to actually acquire a client than it does to, than it does to sell to an existing client. So I'm going to argue that it is a critical strategy. It's really, really important, but I don't know that it's new.
It's not new. It's just a lost one. This is like the kid that gets a great toy for Christmas and it winds up in the closet. Come
Yes.
June, they suddenly find it and like, wow, this is great.
Yes.
I didn't know I had this. That's yeah. I mean, it's we should have been doing this all along, and shame on us because here's the whole thing: we spend so much time focusing on getting new customers when we don't realize all of the business that we have with existing customers. If we just stay in touch, just stay in contact with them. Why is that so hard for people to do?
Well, I got to tell you, it's hard for me to do. Like, so I am so guilty as charged. You and I were talking in the green room about the proposals we've got to get out this morning. And one of the proposals I've got to get out is I was speaking in Pennsylvania this week, and I'm driving back to the airport, and my phone rings, and it's one of my clients I'd spoken to before who called me back and said, we were just talking about you. We had you here 3 years ago. I think it's time for you to come back. And I was thinking about the show we were doing today, and I thought, wow, I should have made that phone call. I should have been in touch with them, not luck of the draw. They happened to come back to me. Right. So I think part of the problem is as salespeople, I know me, I'm turned on by the chase. It's like it's exciting to me to see if I can get through the door, if I can land something. And I tend to forget, as embarrassing as that is, about my existing customers.
It's so easy to forget. And I have to admit, this is one of the reasons why I like my Friday afternoon phone call strategy. You know, yesterday I was calling a lot of past clients, and sure enough, there's two of the four proposals I got to get out this morning are from two of those people. Those are relationships I've had, done work with them, and doggone it, just lose sight of them, reach back out. And that's why I love, and I stress this a lot, Friday afternoon phone calls. I get conversations with senior level people I would never get any other time of the week. And
Yeah.
things arise.
Yeah, I also think that another important part of this strategy is your existing customers are incredible intel. You already have a relationship with them, so the conversation is easy, and it's easy to have that conversation, and they'll tell you things. And if you listen, you're going to get intel on the market that you can't get anywhere else.
Oh, so valuable. And along with that, they're also great to play on the referral side because, again, you know them. So you probably know the type of customers, clients that they're looking for. You can refer them, you can have a conversation about that. And in so doing, they probably have some people that they can connect with you. But go back to what you said at the beginning. It takes 6, 7x the effort, the expense, and everything to develop a new customer versus an existing customer. We have a gold mine of opportunity with existing customers. And I think this is where we have got to make sure in your CRM system, you have a repetitive cadence. And I'm going to say the repetitive cadence is not just an email going out, an email, but you physically picking up the phone and calling them and having a conversation with them on a regular basis, whatever you establish that to be. But that's so critically important.
Yeah, yeah. And Gina, you are dead right. I mean, customer retention is a critical sales strategy. And Mark, to go along with what you just said, Lucky follows, weighs in and says, follow up in three different channels: call, email, and LinkedIn. I agree. I mean, you just want to reach out, and you just want to, keep yourself top of mind with people. I'm interested if you think that our existing customers should be part of our top 100 pipeline list or something like that.
I think so, because I think there's a lot of opportunity there that we look past. And one of the things that I've always said is, treat a prospect the same way you would a customer. In other words, if there's information that you share with a customer, share it with a prospect. But I also think we lose sight that we do things for prospects that we don't do for customers, in terms of the deliberateness of staying in touch, being there with them. And I think this is where it's absolutely important that you treat the customer, share with them insights, share with them knowledge, share with them what's happening. I love Terry's comment. You're so right. Customer retention is powerful. It means we need to continually provide current, relevant data value. We stay up to date. And one of the things that I'm going to challenge us is, because you know the customer, you probably know something about their customer's customer. What are the insights that you can share with them? That brings more value. It is not just about calling and checking in, seeing how they're doing. It's having a meaningful, value-driven conversation that goes both ways.
Yeah, I think two things to add to that is, number one, who do you think is on your competitor's prospect list? It's your existing customers. The other thing I think is really important is that, we talked about the cost of bringing on this customer, but it is, bringing on a new customer. But there's also the emotional cost. It took a lot to win that trust. And I always say to my audiences, the worst thing that can happen to you in the marketplace, the absolute worst, is not that you don't get the sale. It's that your prospects or customers find out about a product or service they could benefit from somebody else other than you. Because who do you think is going to be asking those prospects that you're working with? Who do you think they're going to be on the golf course or at a cocktail party asking about doing business with you? And if they're like, I haven't heard from Meridith in 6 months, then it tells that prospect it's not going to be a good relationship.
And sadly, I know I have lost business because of that, because I failed to stay in touch. And I knew our LinkedIn expert would be jumping in this morning. Bryn's jumping in. I'd like to add retention is also strategy. As the longer they're with the company, the more relationships they develop. You're right. They wind up knowing other people. They know other opportunities. And this is where LinkedIn comes into play. I'm amazed that Bryn gave us a comment and she didn't use the word LinkedIn. Come on. Oh, wait, come on. But I mean, it's so critical, because business is all about relationships. And you created these relationships. That's why I say you do not close a sale, but you open a relationship with every customer you sell to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Lucky is chiming back in. Great comments here. The best way to retain a new prospect customer is to focus on relationship building, education, and consistent value. That's right. Just being proactive. But I also want you to think about this. Think about the fact that, you maybe haven't worked with somebody in 6 months. Think how much has changed in the last 6 months. They're going to have different needs. They're going to have more opportunities. They're going to have so much happening. And so have you. You've developed new products and services, new ways that you can, new ways you can benefit and add value to them. So it's such a win-win for both of you. And staying in touch, they grow, you grow, things shift for both of you. There's always opportunity there.
Exactly. And don't forget the personal aspect. When you were working with them initially, they may have shared with you something about their children or something that they do or something like that. And don't hesitate to bring that up, because it's amazing. They're going to sit there and say, he actually remembered. She actually remembered. It's incredible. And that's very valuable, because, again, it helps to create that personal connection, because I don't care what it is that you sell. There is a level of emotion in every relationship and every transaction. So spot on. Yeah.
Yeah. Mark, what's the question for today?
Oh, yes. The question comes from Sean in Seattle, my hometown. Hey, we work in the food distribution industry. It's competitive. We're doing a great job of bringing on new customers, but our churn rate has been higher than ever this year. What advice do you have for me and my team? What do you think?
Yeah. Number one is you need to figure out why. I mean, I'd start talking to those customers that you've lost and figure out why you've lost them. If you're losing them on price, that's a big signal that your service level isn't there, because they're just comparing you to the next, to basically the next competitor. Is your competitor offering something that you are not offering that you could offer? Has it been forever since your reps have been there and connected with them? So you need to figure out why.
And I'll tell you what, like the food distribution industry, you're right. There's probably half a dozen different suppliers they could buy from. So, the typical restaurant owner or store or whatever could be saying, hey, I'm going to get it from whoever's cheapest. But here's where you bring value. And this is for anybody. Look downstream. How do you help them do their business? What are the insights that Sean, you and your people can bring to your customers to help them run a better operation, to help them create better customer service, to help them really engage better, help them maybe lower their costs in other areas? You've got to provide to them insights and information. This is why we stay in our ICP, our ideal customer profile, because you learn your space so well that you become the expert. Then guess what? They got to have you. They have to have you because of what you're bringing to them.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder too, is that maybe like your sales team has just gotten far too reactive. Like Mark said, they're not really bringing any value to the table. I mean, you need to understand, in today's marketplace, your customers, they're struggling too. And they need somebody who's going to show up and say, I've got an idea. If we did this, I think it would help grow sales. I was working with a retailer, and they sell to retail shops. They're a clothing industry. And this one rep was doing really well because right now they are getting hammered. I mean, hammered. And this one rep was doing really well and went out to see what that rep was doing. And he's literally going into the stores and helping them work on displays, helping them work on how to set the store up. He's offered to do little 1-hour trainings for the, for the team who works there on how they could sell more and how to position things so that when people buy a hat, they automatically buy a belt. So he was adding so much value. It made sense. He wasn't just coming in there trying to sell hats, belts, or shirts.
I love that. He's going downstream, looking at how does this product wind up somewhere else. This is so key. We have to look at bringing value, because here's the thing that, Sean, I'm going to push back a little bit. Sean, your salespeople may be saying, hey, price. You know what's funny? A salesperson will always say they lose the deal on price. They will never say they lose it because of their poor selling skills. Think about that for a moment. Because again, right? I mean, again, if we could just lower our price, we've got to get in the deal. Well, maybe you need to learn how to sell. Okay, I hate to, I'm going to call it out what it is, because you're not having a value added conversation. And Sean, I'm going to ask you to ask your people, what are the critical factors driving each one of your customers? In other words, go to your people and say, okay, for your top 10, top 25 accounts, whatever, what are the most critical factors, critical issues that they're dealing with? Is it labor? Is it utilities? Is it customer traffic before 6 a.m. or after 10, whatever it might be? And I'll venture to say that those people, your salespeople, don't know that. And if they don't know that, or they're going to make a wild guess. No, I don't want to guess. I want facts. Because now when I have facts, I can help them. Sean, this is a great opportunity. You can lower that churn by creating more value for your customers.
Yeah, I love what Terry is saying here. Excellent point of looking downstream. Find out the problems your customers are facing now and give solutions. That is far better than saying we can give you a better price. I mean, a better price is so weak, right, Terry? I mean, it's just not. It's all it's going to do is drive down really another price. I think the other thing that I would do if I were sitting in your shoes is I want you to ask every single rep, why would your customers stay with you over the competition? And if they can't quickly, easily, and effectively answer that, then they don't have a strategy to hold on to existing customers.
Oh, I love that. And this is the whole thing, that it's easy for them to sit there and say, they can buy it somewhere else at a lower price. Low price is not a sustainable competitive advantage, period.
No, it is not.
I mean, you are just going to lose. And again, you're going to defeat the marketplace. So it comes back that you got to find what is that key critical issue that you can help. A few weeks ago, I shared the idea that you got to ask your customers, what are your KPIs? What are your KPI? What are the key performance indicators that they're being measured on? Now, for Sean, his team may be dealing with restaurant owners, so they don't have KPIs. But what's your bank saying? You got to be, focused on. What are you needing to be focused on? When you understand that, then it's amazing. You're now in a much better position to help them.
Yeah, I love what Lucky's chiming in here with. Retention. Long-term client relationship is a factor of trust plus communication plus education plus strong value. I'm going to add there too. It's a function of accessibility. I mean, how quickly do you respond to people? Are they there, and are you proactive with your with your conversations with them? I'm kind of going to throw a little bit of a wrench in this, though. The other thing you need to look at, though, are you losing customers you wish you held on to, or are you losing customers that it's okay to lose? And, yes, sometimes it's okay to lose a customer. I don't know who your team is selling to. I don't know if they've got some I'm trying to think if I should say this on the show, but years ago when I worked in healthcare, we had a whole list of doctors that we called on. And there was one group of doctors, there were about 5 physician practices we never called on. And we never called on them because our commercial officer called them price whores. And what he meant by that was the fact that if we got the deal, we were just going to lose it the next year because all they cared about was price. They religiously moved their relationship every 2 to 3 years. When the deal would come up for renewal, they would move it based on price. And he said, don't even bother because it costs us so much to get that. And we're not going to get any more. It's never profitable. So he took it off the list. So I would have you look at the list and really think about, is that a good customer to lose? I just lost one the other day, or it went dark on me. And it was all I could do not to chase it down. But they made it really clear their budget was about 1/3 of what I priced. And I caught myself right in the middle of it going, what am I doing? Like, why am I trying to chase a deal that by the time I do it, it's not going to be profitable for me anyway?
You're like the dog that's chasing the car, and what happens when you actually catch it? What are you going to do with it? You're right. Hey, Florida is really chiming in. We got Kevin is jumping in from Lakeland, Florida. Great to hear from you. Hey, I want to come back to this whole thing in terms of customer profitability, because there's gross customer profitability. What is the total revenue? But it's net. That's what we're looking at. Net is after all that service. Like you said, you had that healthcare clinic that very difficult to work with, price focused, and I'm sure they were serviced. They wanted everything. And again, look at net profitability. But Sean, here's the thing I'm going to put on you. Don't have your salespeople tell you, hey, what are the customers we should drop? You're the one that's got to determine that, because it's very easy for salespeople to use this as a great excuse to get rid of some customers. Sean, you're the best one to really determine what is the difference between gross profitability and net profitability. This is a management decision you make. But again, it is, because not all customers are worth keeping as customers. Sometimes the best customer you get is the one you give to your competitor. Oh, I'm so heartbroken I'm losing you. Gee.
Yeah. Because you've got to realize, I mean, those customers are going to refer other customers to you. So you want to be spending that time, that time and attention on the right customers. So the biggest, kind of as a synopsis of the conversation today, is that it definitely needs to be part of your strategy. And you really need to look at, just like Bryn said, those reps you want to hold on to. Look at those customers that you would literally cry if they went out the door. And what's your strategy around those those customers? Take a look at why you're losing customers. What's going on there? Is there something you need to do to change in your strategy? I can't stress enough the importance of intel. If you just listen to the marketplace, it will tell you the path to growth and profitability.
Side note on that, make sure that as you're creating relationships with people, and again, we were talking about this, longer you're working with somebody, more people get to know. Get their cell numbers. Get their cell numbers, because something interesting. Cell numbers stick with the person. As they leave and go to another company, the cell number goes. I had that this week. I had a great client I was working with, great individual CRO, and he went to another company. But I had a cell number and I was able to reach out and stay in touch with them. The company email, of course, was dead. So make sure this is the whole thing about creating relationships with knowledge that you can take with you as they move to other customers. Wow, time is moving along. You ready for the book?
I am.
The book is The Effortless Experience by our friends Matt Dixon, Nick Toman, and Nick DeLisi. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, it's a book nobody ever talks about, but I love the book because it basically emphasizes on taking every ounce of friction out of the sales experience. And if you want to hold on to people, take the friction out of the experience, because if people get frustrated, they'll move on to somebody else.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is the book has been out for like 10 years.
Yes.
10 or 12 years.
What I said, it's not talked about very often.
It's not talked about, which is the whole thing regarding customer retention. We don't focus enough on it. We do not close a sale. We open a relationship, and ask yourself, look at all your customers. There's a lot more business there. Wow. Great conversation, but we got to get to the lightning round. Are you ready?
I am.
Top 10 ways buyers are changing.
Oh God, that's a good one. Top 10 ways buyers are changing. I would say that they trust their colleagues and their peers far more than they trust our product or service.
Oh, love that. They are risk averse. They don't want to be made a fool.
Yeah, they are not buying products or services. They are buying results.
Yes. And they're protective of themselves. There is nothing they want to do that will make them look not in the best of light.
Yeah, they expect personalization that is off the chart.
But they also want to be able to buy without salespeople. If they can just buy it online, buy it without having to talk to you or me, well, why would they not want to talk to you, Mary? I mean, come on. Yeah, they just don't want salespeople involved.
Yeah, they are slower to come to decision.
Oh, I love that. And I'm going to add on that. They're more cash flow sensitive. In other words, if they can extend the terms of deal, if they can change whatever it is, regardless, they are much more cash flow sensitive.
Yeah, they expect that they can access you any way they want to access you.
Ooh,
they can access you via email, text, phone call, whatever. They expect to be able to do it at 11 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock in the morning.
And that means you better be prepared, because whatever their preferred channel is your preferred channel of communication for that customer. Yeah. Great one. Hey, you know what? They're also much more price focused in that even after they've got the deal arranged, they want another price discount. They just want to keep asking because they can. They just keep asking for it. Why don't you share one more? I'll share one more. We'll close it down.
Yeah. I don't think they're asking as much, why should I buy from you? I think they're asking, why should I trust you?
Ooh, I love that. Because that's what I was going to run with. Trust and accountability is more important than ever. And if they see anything about you that emotionally they don't connect with, you are gone. Hey, great show today. We want to thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. We've said something that's earned you a single dollar. Consider telling a friend about our show, because it's how we grow. Hey, I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meridith Elliott, Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
all of this uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
All right. So Mark and I are connecting in Vegas. We're both out there for a job in about a week or so. And when we get back from Vegas, look towards the end of the month, you're going to see some new things come into Sales Logic. So 1st of July, you're going to want to tune in. All right. Go close the deal. You've been an amazing audience. We'll see you next week.